Hey, everybody. Linda Bean from the Kellyanne Dolan Memorial Fund. Thanks for joining us this morning for Shining a Light. You often hear me talk about children that we serve and their families who live with a disability, that it is a kind of an extra layer and complex challenge to provide social, emotional engagement opportunities for them. Schools do a pretty decent job while they are in school during the day, but once they go home, it's a challenge to keep them connected to the outside world. So I'm really delighted today to be able to have a chat with Dominique Bernardo, who represents the Variety Club of the Delaware Valley. Hey, Dominique, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Linda.
Oh yeah, happy to have you and chat this morning. So let's just dive into it and talk about Variety Club of the Delaware Valley. What's the heartbeat behind it? What's the mission?
So the mission of Variety is to enrich the lives of children and young adults with disabilities through social, educational, and vocational programs. And we've been around 87 years. We're one of the oldest children's charities in the greater Philadelphia area, which we're pretty proud of. And we've been able to adapt to meet the needs of children with disabilities since 1935.
That's incredible. So let's kind of talk about the range of programming. When we break that down, what sorts of programs do you provide to that continuum of ages?
Yes. So our target population are children ages 5 to 24, although we do offer services for young adults greater than 24. Our target population really is that 5 to 24. So we offer year-round programming. So during the academic year, we have after-school programs, Saturday full-day camp. We have weekend retreats in non-COVID times, which is a chance to have some overnight camping experience. We offer summer camps, day camps, overnight camps, extended school year. And then we also offer vocational training programs, which I'd love to share more with you about. Particularly when the youth turns 14, we really focus on vocational trainings after the age of 14. And our services are primarily located in Montgomery County on our headquarters, but we also have some partner sites in Philadelphia and really draw kids from the greater Philadelphia area.
That's fantastic. And I know, regardless of the age that you're serving, there are some really centered outcomes that you hope to achieve through the range of this programming, whether it's, just a social fun activity or it's more of preparing them for volunteering or the workforce. Can you share with me what those outcomes are for Variety Club?
Sure. So we articulated a theory of change about 3 years ago, which basically says when young adults with disabilities have access to choices and they engage in individualized instruction and employment experiences, that they will become self-confident, independent, and better prepared for life. And so for the younger guys we serve, right, we're really focusing on socialization, having them in a safe place, getting to build a good relationship with them and their family so we can get to know them pre-age 14. It also serves, our after-school programs, our summer programs. They also serve as wonderful respite opportunities for the caregivers, right, who have the opportunity to do some self-care when their child could be here in a great educational fun space all day on a Saturday, in the fall or the winter, or in a summer program. But for the older kids, once they turn 14, we're really focusing on measuring these 3 outcomes. I firmly believe to be a high-performing organization, you need to be accountable for data. And so we work to measure self-confidence, independence, and preparedness for life in our vocational training programs, starting when the kids are in school, in the high school age, through graduation. We think that focusing on them really can help make a difference in the lives of these young adults.
You really brought up, I think, just a critical piece, though, where we often forget. I love that word respite. A lot of times we're seeing programming for the children throughout the spectrum, but it often involves the parents or caregivers. And to create that opportunity where it's kind of like a drop off, like you and I, or me back in the day where it seemed forever ago, dropping my kids off at the middle school dance. You get a free date night out and a little bit time to yourself. And more being mindful of programming, we're incorporating that element of, gosh, we just got to refuel the caregiver. So they've got what it takes to get up every day and do what they need to do to support their child, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we really pride ourselves on developing good relationships with the parents and families. And we do find, I mean, our parents are warriors of the kids that, we serve, and any support we can give them, because they've had to fight a good fight to get the services they need and ensure that their child is getting the quality of services they deserve. We're honored to be able to do that. And so, and especially in this pandemic, we've seen our kids regress significantly around just personal hygiene, around losing their structure, losing their routine. And so it's even more important for us today in February 2022, to be able to, meet the needs of the parents from that angle.
For sure. Parents didn't even get a crash course for becoming educators for their kids and having to set up that environment. I want to dive more into the vocational piece of it, because I want to incorporate really a call to action down the line in our conversation for employers. Tell me how Variety Club is preparing those older teens and transitional age for, what adult life might look for them down the line.
Sure. So when I was 14, 15, 16, I was working at Wendy's and then a Hallmark store, and then had an internship. My brother was mowing lawns. Another brother was delivering the paper. And most of the participants that we serve in our programs do not have that opportunity, or wouldn't even think how they could get a part-time job while they're in school, either because they need to have other supportive services after school, or no one's ever asked them if they'd like to do it, or there's just not, the parents might not have the resources to even think that they're, ready or willing or capacity to do it. So for the young adults that are in school starting at age 14 to when they graduate at 21, we look to place them in internships, in time-limited paid internships at community business employers. We also have the opportunity to do comprehensive assessments to help them think about, what do they want to do? Give them experience in an office for a day, give them experience out in a retail location for a day, and discuss their supports, and come up with the report at the end that helps them and the parent think about, well, what next? Are they job ready? What do they need to do to get job ready? We also do a really cool program in the summer for in-school youth called Summer Vocational. And it's a 7-week full-time, like 9 to 3, 5 days a week program, where these high school age students rotate in crews around our 77-acre campus. So you've got a crew working in the kitchen, our industrial kitchen, that is making lunch for the day campers. And then they take the compost out to the compost pile. And then the greenhouse crew takes the compost and puts it on our garden and helps, nurture or nourish the zucchini. And then another garden crew takes the zucchini and takes it back to the baking crew. And the baking crew makes zucchini bread, and they give it to a marketing crew, who then takes it out to a pop-up shop in the community and sells zucchini bread. So it's a really cool opportunity for our high school age students to get some hands-on experience in the summer in an intensive way, to figure out, well, what can I do? How do I learn to run a POS system on an iPad? Or do I like baking? And do I like, tending in the dirt? So for the in-school age youth, we, it's time limited to the out of school hours, right? So after school and the summers. And then once our participants turn 21, and I don't know if folks know this, but when these young adults with disabilities turn 21, they age out of entitlement services. Mm-hmm. And at that point, if they're not work ready, which most of them aren't, and if they're unsure of how to navigate the adult system, they're literally home on the couch. And we've had this feedback from parents over the years, which is why we launched our workforce development and vocational services in 2018, because we kept hearing this. So I go back to my original example, is most of our kids aren't getting this work ready experience at Wendy's, or, delivering the newspaper, whatever it might be. Yeah. And so they get to this point at 21 where it's like, what next? And so that's our sweet spot. We're really preparing our youth to get to that 21 and be ready. And then we help them transition at age 21. So once they graduate, for those that are not work ready, they can participate in our on-campus farm to table program, which mirrors that 7-week summer vocational program. They work, they get experience on our campus in the industrial kitchen, in the garden and greenhouse, 50% of the time, and the other 50% they spent time in the community. We also operate a mobile cafe offsite at the Norristown Human Services Center. So for those that are ready to be a little bit out in the community, a structured environment, a 3-to-1 ratio, they earn minimum wage and sell coffee and pastries and lunch sandwiches, during the week. And then when they're ready, when any of those youth are ready to move on to employment, we then assign them a job coach who works with them one-on-one and helps them find a job in the community. And what makes Variety a little bit different is that we don't say every young adult has to go into custodial services or every young adult needs to go into retail. We ask the youth, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? Because just as hopefully you and everyone listening got the chance to choose your own career or vocation, that's what we want for our guys, and that's what they deserve. And that leads to retention. When you're in your job you hate, you're not going to stay. So if a young adult says to us, I love animals, we're going to go find 3 community business partners. We're going to find a pet shop, we're going to find a vet, and we're going to find maybe like a local farm. And we're going to try to get that youth some experiences to exposure to what it looks like, and then say, do you still want this? And then we'll help them find an internship or help them find a job for one-on-one coaching if they're job ready again. And that's the piece back to our theory of change, is when they have access to choices and they can engage in this really individualized instruction, we're setting them up for success, because we want them to like what they're doing every day. And we want them to be enthusiastic, which really is a win-win for the employer partner and the young adult.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Willy Wonka golden ticket right there. You are bringing them into the mix and looking at them holistically and personality wise. Come on, they have dreams and goals just like everyone else.
Yep.
And, I live for a day when we as a society start removing the discs and we start looking at as abilities, because they have contributions to make just as anyone else. And you're providing that hands-on training in a variety of different capacities that we know any kid could benefit from, in helping to kind of narrow down, hey, I'm interested in this, I think maybe I'd like to focus on that. But I do like that you include the job coach piece, because I still think we have a way to go. Anytime I present on this, always what comes up, well, what if I have a situation that arises based on performance or an ask and I don't know how to handle it? So I would imagine, if you talk a little bit about pushback, what are some of the things that you hear from employers on that topic?
Yeah, we are always open to community business partners. For anyone listening, we're always looking for more community business partners. And so we're careful to, ensure that the young adult wants this job and that there's a job for the young adult. And so our one-on-one job coaches will work on the same shift as the young adult to help them do the job. And so sometimes it's verbal cues that we need to prompt them for. Sometimes it's teaching them how to, relate in a more social way, social cues. Sometimes it's hand over hand sort of coaching they might need. Like, no, you need to maybe, if they're working in a grocery store, right, you might need to bag the groceries a different way. And so I think, from employers, I think we're hearing like that. The training is really important. And then, for the young adult, but then also the training for the employers as well, right? Helping them understand, how you navigate working with an individual that might need accommodations. And so what we're trying to do more and more of is really help engage our employers and our community business partners. And what does an accommodation mean? And how can you do that in a way that doesn't, affect your business in any way, but really gets you this loyal, committed employee that will hopefully stay with you for a long time.
Yeah, it takes some of the fear out of it when you have the support and training to be able to back you. We need to create more opportunities, because we're seeing right within our own backyard so many different businesses, Perkiomen Valley Brewery, Bakeability, these parents that feel like their back's up against the wall. So they're becoming entrepreneurs in a drop of a hat to create these businesses. So there's an opportunity for their adult child. So I love that you're moving in the direction more in creating more opportunities for this. And look, at emotional disabilities are also hidden. I can tell you about a local nonprofit partner that has just hired somebody full time to manage their website that lives with autism and dyslexia. but we need to be more open-minded to the spectrum of opportunities. So just applaud you on that. So let's talk about, when I hear about this campus, I can imagine that you've got some needs. So if somebody's listening or sees this later, how do we support your charity?
Yeah, I love this question. Thanks for asking. So we operate on a beautiful 77-acre campus in Montgomery County, and it is aged and old. We've got many, many buildings dating back to the 50s. We've got 38 structures. We have multiple cabins. We have a gym. We have a rec hall. We have industrial kitchen, but a lot of them need repair ongoing. So first thing I would say is to the community is come visit us, contact us. Let us know you want to visit. Come learn about what we do. There's folks that live right around the corner from us that aren't exactly sure what we do. So come visit us. We can find a place for you. Secondly, we're always looking for volunteers, community groups, businesses to come in and do a day of service. We can tailor a really, really specific, fun, engaging, impactful volunteer experience, whether you're painting, weeding, raking. We had organic chemists from a local pharmaceutical company one year working the wood chipper out in the woodlands. I mean, we have so much need. It's crazy. We also, yes, we love donations of the cash kind, but we also take in-kind donations for our campus, for our programs, whether it's cleaning supplies, tools, materials to help maintain our campus. We have many needs in that way. And then I would also say, keep an eye on our website, because we have many community events as well and fundraisers that allow you to be on campus. From a community business partner perspective, we are always looking for businesses, from the small mom and pop shops to the larger corporations, to partner with us in this vocational training, whether it's allow us to come out for a one-day pop-up shop and sell our home-baked goods and handcrafts for one day a year or one day a month. Or consider taking one of our interns, or even consider being a job placement site. We love to go deep and meaningful with our partnerships. And so if you have a need, and I know so many businesses today particularly have entry-level needs in this nationwide labor shortage, please think of us, because we want to help you meet that need.
That is a great call to action. I love that, whether it's volunteer or a paid internship. We all know, you mentioned I always play down the donations, because a lot of times it's that in kind for corporate, right? That draws them in, it gives them the hands-on way of us telling our stories as nonprofits. You got to raise funds to support this campus. So any special events coming up to support programming and for Del
Yeah,
Val?
sure. Yeah, so we have a designer bag bingo coming up on May 15th. Tickets might sell in advance, so you can get those tickets via our website. In the fall, October 15th, I think is the date, we have a family-friendly Fall Fest. It's a day of fun that's amazing, with trick-or-treating and live music and live bands. And then we do this amazing Holiday Lane event. This will be our third year. It's November 30th to December 3rd this year. We had 1,500 people come through our campus. It's an evening event where you can see the campus decorated by community members, and there's s'mores and all kinds of fun things. So if you follow us or get on our listserv, we'd love to keep you informed of what's happening, because there's always something year round to come to help support us, learn about more of what we do.
Oh, that's awesome. And one of the things I feel that we've done well, pivoting in the pandemic, is aligning ourselves as nonprofits. We don't all have the same resources and expertise. So I'm excited to look forward and see how the Dolan Fund can partner with Variety Club for the families that we serve. So that's kind of exciting.
And even having this opportunity and you shining a light on another nonprofit is a wonderful, symbol, right, of how we all need to work together.
We know it's cliche, but it takes a village. I want to kind of close with resources, and one last question. I came across, I know PA has a resource directory for transitional age youth, but I kind of feel like we're missing the mark. So is there another call to action, or in a couple sentences, that you would just want anyone out there that's listening or sees this later, when they look at someone living with either a hidden or physical disability, why they need to be open to a different perspective?
Yeah, I think, yes. So if it's someone that does not have a disability, right? You're saying somebody outside the family, right? I think that everybody has their strengths, everybody has their talents. And I think it's a matter of figuring out what that is and being open to, how you could really change the life of somebody and really, maybe get some of your needs met as a community business partner. Like I said, earlier, right now we can help meet some, entry level worker needs for some businesses that are really having a hard time doing it. And, asking questions and not being afraid to express concerns is a great way to build a deep partnership with organizations like us and others that do job placement like this to really make it a worthwhile experience and have a mutually beneficial impact.
Yeah, exactly what I was looking for. And really, with the supports that you provide, the intrinsic rewards for the employer. I know when we bring somebody in just to do a service project like Brave Boxes for kids that are in the hospital undergoing cancer treatment, the takeaway from that experience for them. So you're building in sort of that feel good for the employer as well.
Yeah.
Just thanks for dropping by and spending some time with us. The work that you're doing is incredible, paving the way. I look forward to getting out to the campus and seeing it and, volunteering in some capacity. So keep
Wonderful.
on doing what you're doing, moving and grooving.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
You too.